Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Pain and Gain, and this movie is directed by Michael Bay, starring Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson. And this was a film that was on my watch list for a while, simply because it was supposedly not painful to sit through. No pun intended when I say that. And I was kind of disappointed by this movie. I felt as though the most interesting parts of this movie, story wise, were kind of glossed over and montaged through. And I just felt as though that was a huge missed opportunity for this movie. Like, you could have developed this movie and made it really interesting, like a Martin Scorsese film, like Goodfellas or Casino or even The Wolf of Wall Street, which came out the same year as this movie, 2013. And I was just waiting for something like that to happen, but sadly, you only get hints of that at best. And I'm really not a big fan of the comedy in this movie. It just did not land. And not that Michael Bay films have great comedy in them, but sometimes it's okay, but most of the time it's not. And this movie just wasn't hitting for me as far as the comedic side of the film goes. And I'll say this much, the acting was good. Mark Wahlberg was fine in it. Dwayne Johnson was solid. He fit the role pretty well, surprisingly. And I liked seeing Ed Harris in this movie. He had good screen presence. I do like some of the violence, although it doesn't really linger on it or show it to you too much. This movie is rated R, but it kind of almost feels tame. Like, you only get little bits of what could be justified as an R-rated movie. Like, it felt like as though the film was trying to go for a PG-13 rating, but couldn't get that, and as a result, this is what we're left with. The story overall didn't really grab me or do much for me. It just kind of happened, and I didn't really care, but I'll say this much about it. The film did get a little bit better as it went along. Like, I do like the second half of this movie better than the first half. The first half I just find to be, almost excruciating to sit through, but then the second half happens and things start to pick up for me, and it felt like things were happening in the plot. I also did feel as though there was too much narration in this movie to the point where it was distracting, and it kind of left a huge missed opportunity for me to really soak in anything about the movie. And I also didn't really like the music in the film. It just didn't complement the tone that the film was going for. I wasn't really a big fan of the slow motion in this movie. I found it to be inappropriately used, but I'll say this much, it wasn't abused, luckily. And also, not that this is a bad thing necessarily, but this film is shot exactly like a Michael Bay film would be shot. And if you've seen any of his movies, then you know exactly what he likes to do. And all in all, this was just another Michael Bay film that just didn't really connect with me. I'll have to revisit the Transformers films, the first four movies, to see how those hold up. And as of right now, for me personally, the one that I think is his best movie is Bad Boys 2. I don't know if many people would agree with me on that, but for me, that's where he goes all out and it just does all the things that you would expect from him, and it just makes for an entertaining movie, and it complements that film. Or at least from memory, that's how I remember it. And when I say that's his best movie, probably, because I haven't seen all of his movies, I do kind of mean that it's probably his only good movie, like the only one I can see myself watching again. Like, there's scenes from that movie that I can remember, and parts that I would like to revisit, like the action scenes I remember enjoying, and there were some long action scenes that were entertaining enough for me. Whereas this movie just kind of had nothing. Like, the opening scene was kind of hilarious in a unintentional way. Like, just me laughing at the movie, which is never a good sign for a movie that's trying to be serious. But if a movie's trying to be serious and it fails, then it is easier for me to laugh at it. But unfortunately, the movie was trying to be funny for a good chunk of it, so that's kind of what drags it down for me, entertainment-wise. So, would I recommend this movie? No. I don't think I need to see it again. I don't think anyone needs to see it, really. It's not terrible, it's just kind of hollow and forgettable. And if you want like a crime movie, there's much better films out there to watch. Like I just mentioned a couple Scorsese movies that does something like this, but a lot better. So watch Goodfellas, The Departed, or Casino, or even The Wolf of Wall Street. Those are much better movies, and they just succeed where this movie kind of failed. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Pain and Gain a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Pain and Gain, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for the only film that I haven't seen from director Zack Snyder, and that is Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.